Hi everyone, welcome to this React Redux tutorial for beginners in 2020, part number 2. And now we're gonna go and finish off this application, increment and decrement. So let's do this. Okay everyone, and welcome to this React Redux tutorial for beginners in 2020, part number 2. So in this part, we're gonna have a look at action creators, reducers, combined reducers, provider, createStore, connect, mapStateToProps, and mapDispatchToProps. Okay, so first we're going to begin with action creators. So this is function that create actions. Okay, so open up your IDE. In my case, I'm using VS Code, like so. So first we can go and just start the application. So make sure you're in the right folder. And after that, just do npm start. Hit enter. Okay, so we got this counter, 0, and increment and decrement button. Okay, so I'm gonna make this bigger, like so. Okay, so and if you're a total beginner, you can go to part number 1. I will add it right here in the top of this window. Okay. So let's go back to the Visual Studio Code. And I will make the text bigger. Like so. And now we're gonna go and create an actions folder. So let's go to this one. SRC, right click, click on new folder. And name this to actions. Like so, hit enter. And inside here, we're going to create a new file. Click on new file and name this to index.js. You can name this to whatever you like, but if you name this to index.js, we don't need to import this file. We can only import actions. So this is just a shortcut. Okay, hit enter. Okay, so now we're going to create 2 action creators. One called increment and one called decrement. All right, so we're gonna do export const and we're gonna name this to increment, like so. And we're gonna add equals, open and close parentheses, and we're gonna add an arrow, and we're gonna finish this off with open and close curly braces, like so. And inside here we're gonna return with an open and close curly braces. And now we're gonna add a type. So we will always need a type in our action creators. So we're gonna do type with a colon, and this will be a string. And we're gonna name this string with capital letters by convention. So in this case, we're gonna name this increment. Like so. You will understand why we do this when we're gonna create the reducer. And we're gonna finish this off with a comma. And now we're gonna add a payload. So the payload is gonna be the value we want to increment and decrement with. So in our case, it's gonna be 1. And we're gonna just add payload, like so, and finish it off with a colon. And right here, we're gonna add the value we're gonna pass into this action creator. So we're gonna add number. So by just adding number, we can choose to pass in 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever you like. And we're gonna add payload as number, like so. If you want to shorten this up, we can do that because number is the same as number right here. So we can do like this if you want. But in this case, I won't do that because this is a beginner's tutorial using React Redux. Alright, so that's it. Now we have an increment action creator with a type of increment and a payload of number. So we're gonna create another one, decrement. Just copy this, just paste it, and we can just change this to decrement and change the type to decrement, like so. And same thing here, we're gonna pass a number to decrement the value. Okay, so that's it. This is the action creators that we're gonna use in this application. Okay, so now we're gonna go and create reducer. So let's go and have a look. So we're gonna create these reducers. So reducers specify how the application state changes in response to the action sent to the store. Okay, so let's go to our IDE. And we're gonna go to the SRC folder, right click, click on new folder. Same thing here, we're gonna create a folder called reducers. Like so, hit enter. And now go and right click on reducer, click on new file, and name this to index.js as well. Hit enter. Okay, so now we're gonna go and create our reducer. So I'm gonna name this to counter reducer. So first we're gonna do function, like so, and we're gonna add the name counter reducer, and we're gonna add open and close parentheses, and finish it off with open and close curly braces, like so. And inside here we're gonna add a switch. All right, and I'm gonna finish this off with a open and close curly braces, like so. So right here in this open and close parentheses, we're gonna add the state. Okay, so this is the initial state. So we can set the counter to 0. So our initial state will be 0, like so. And we also need to add action. Okay. So the action in this case will be the type and the payload. So we will check for the action.type right here in the switch open and close parentheses. Action.type. So we will check for this action creators type. We will check for increment or decrement. Okay. So we will add a case with a type of increment, like so. We will add a colon. Hit enter, and if we have an action creator with increment, we will return the state, which is 0 plus action.payload, which will be the number we will increment this state with. Okay, so if you have the number as 1, we will take the state and we will add number 1 to this state. And we're gonna finish this off with a semicolon. So now we got the case of increment, and we will also check the case of decrement. So just add another case, do the same thing, decrement, like so, colon, enter, and return the state. But in this case we want to decrement, so we will remove the number that's passing into the action creator, which will be 1 in our case. So we will add action.payload and finish this off with semicolon. So the action payload is this number we're gonna pass into this action creator. Okay. Okay, I got this one. I'm just gonna remove this one. We don't need that. And after that, we're gonna add default. Like so. With a colon. And we're gonna return state. Finish it off with a semicolon. That means if action.type is neither increment or decrement, we will just return the state, which is 0 at this moment. Okay? And if you're only gonna have one reducer, we can just export default and the name like so. But in most cases, we're gonna use multiple reducers, so we're gonna need to use something called combined reducers. Okay, but for now, we have created our first reducer, which will check for the type increment. If so, it will take the state and add the action payload. Same thing if it's decrement, it will take the state and remove number 1 from 0. So in this case, we will have -1. Alright, if neither, we will just return the state as we now have as 0. Okay, so let's go back. And now we're gonna do this one, combine reducers. So the combine reducers helper function turns an object whose values are different reducing functions into single reducing function. So you can pass these to createStore. Okay. So if you have multiple reducers, we will combine these to one. Okay. So let's do this. Let's go back to your IDE. In my case, VS Code. All right. So now we want to import these combined reducers. So at the top, just do import. And add open and close curly braces. And inside here, we're gonna add combine reducers, like so, from Redux, like so. And then we're gonna go down here. We're gonna delete this one and we're gonna do export const and just name this to whatever you like. So in this case, I'm gonna name this to all reducers, like so, equals to combine reducers. So this one that we import from Redux. Okay, add a open and close parentheses. And inside here, we're gonna add open and close curly braces. Hit enter. Okay, so in here, we're gonna add all the reducers we want to combine to one. So in this case, we only have one, but if you want to add more, you're gonna add that in here as well. Okay. Okay, so we're just gonna add counter reducer. And as you can see, this is not highlighted. That means we misspelled this one. If I add an R, you see we are now exporting this reducer. If you want to add another one, you just add comma and add another one in the new line. Okay. Okay, so this is how you add combined reducers in your reducers file. So let's go back. And let's go down. Okay, so now we're gonna have a look at the provider. So the provider makes the Redux store available to any nested components that have been wrapped in the connect function. Okay, so let's add the provider. Just go to your IDE. And now we're gonna go to this one, index.js in the src folder. So just click on index.js. Alright, so first you want to import the provider. So just go and import it. Just do import open and close curly braces. And inside here we're gonna import provider, like so, and we're gonna import it from React dash Redux, like so. Okay, now we're gonna go to this one, React DOM.render, add a marker after this open parenthesis, and hit enter 2 times, like so. And on this line we're gonna add the provider. So now we're gonna add less than provider and close this one with greater than. And as you can see, mine is self-closing with less than, a forward slash, provider, and a greater than. Okay, add a marker between right here, hit enter. And now we're gonna take the app and add it in between right there. We can add a marker right here and make it on the same line, like that. Okay, and next to the first provider we're gonna add a store equals open and close parenthesis, and inside here we're gonna add our Redux store. Okay, but that's all for the provider. So let's go back to the overview. Now we're gonna add this one, createStore. The createStore creates a Redux store that holds the complete state tree of your app. And there should only be a single store in your app, okay? Let's go back to the IDE. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna import open and close curly braces. And inside here we're gonna import createStore from Redux, like so. Now we're gonna store this in a const. So we're gonna do const store equals createStore. So this one, createStore, open and close parentheses. Okay, so inside here we're gonna add our all reducers. Okay, so after that we're gonna import our all reducers in this one, reducers index.js. So we want to import this one. So we can copy this. We will go back to index.js and import this one. So just do import open and close curly braces and add the name all reducers, like so, from single quotes dot forward slash, and we're gonna use this one, reducers, and that's it. And because we named this to index.js, we don't need to add index.js like so, okay? Only if you name this to another name, you need to add the name right here. But in this case, we can just do like this. It's a great shortcut. Now we're gonna take this all reducers and pass it into createStore, like so. And now we're gonna take the store and pass it into the provider store, like that. And that's it with the provider, createStore, and import the all reducers to create a single store right here. Okay, so this is a one-time setup. You only need to do this one time in your application and that's it. Okay, after that it's gonna be much easier. So let's go back to the overview. Now we're gonna go down to this one, connect. So the connect function connects a React component to a Redux store. So if we go back to the IDE, Visual Studio Code, and we're gonna go to this one, app.js, click on that. And we also can delete this one, logo, if you still have it, like so. And now we're gonna import connect. Same thing right here, open and close curly braces. And inside here, we're gonna type connect from single quotes React dash Redux. All right. And now we're gonna go down to the bottom to this one, export default app. And inside here, we're gonna type in connect. So we can connect this app.js to the provider store. And we're gonna add open and close parentheses. And we're also gonna surround the app with open and close parentheses. Like so. So let's go back to the overview. And now we're gonna go to this one, mapStateToProps. So mapStateToProps is used for selecting the part of the data from the store that the connected components needs. All right, so we're gonna go back. And in between here, we're gonna go and add mapStateToProps. Like so. And we're gonna go under the code right here. And here we're gonna add mapStateToProps. So we're gonna add const mapStateToProps equals open and close parentheses. And inside here we're gonna add state arrow and open and close curly braces. Hit enter. All right, and we're gonna return open and close curly braces. So here you can choose which state you want to get into this file. Instead of getting the whole state into this file, we can just get the counter reducer, because we only need the counter reducer into this file. So to do this, we can name this to whatever we like. So maybe counter, like that. And now we're gonna take the state dot, and if you go to reducers and index.js file, you see that we have this one, counter reducer. So this is the one we want to have. We want to get the state from counter reducer. So copy this one, go back to app.js, and we're gonna do state dot counter reducer. So now we should be able to get this state as we have 0 into our app.js. So if I go to this one, counter, and delete the 0, add open and close curly braces. So first we're gonna go up to this one, function app, and inside the open parenthesis, we're gonna add props, like so. And now we're gonna go down to this one and add props dot counter, like so. If you have a class component, you need to add this dot props dot counter. Okay. So if you save this one, and go to the application, go to your React app, we now see 0 right here. So this is the state that we have as initial value of 0. If I go to the application, we go to index.js in the reducer folder. We change this state to 1 and save this one. Go back to the application, and now we see the state as 1. Okay, so it works. Let's go back and change it back to 0 and save this one. All right, so now we're gonna go back to the overview, go down, and we have the last thing. We got mapDispatchToProps. So mapDispatchToProps is used for dispatching action to the store. So this is where we're gonna add the action creators. So let's go back to the IDE, Visual Studio Code, go to app.js, go down, and now we're gonna add a marker right here after mapStateToProps, enter a comma, and we're gonna do mapDispatchToProps, like so. And we can add a space right here. And now we're gonna go under const mapStateToProps, and we're gonna do const mapDispatchToProps equals, open and close parentheses, and inside here we're gonna add dispatch, an arrow, open and close curly braces, hit enter, and we're gonna return open and close curly braces. So inside here we're gonna add our action creators. So first we need to go and import the action creators. So these, so we got increment and decrement. Let's go to app.js, go up, and now go and import open and close curly braces. We're gonna do increment and decrement, like so. From single quotes dot / actions, and same thing right here. If you name this to index.js, it's enough with only / actions, so the folder. Now we're gonna go down to this one, mapDispatchToProps. So the name can be whatever we like. Maybe increment count, colon, and we're gonna add number, arrow, dispatch, open and close parentheses, and inside here we're gonna add the action creator, open and close parentheses, and we're gonna pass this number into this one. So that's it. Now we're gonna add the decrement. Just copy this, paste it, and change increment to decrement, and change increment to decrement, like so. And we need to separate this with a comma. Okay, so that's it for the mapDispatchToProps. All we have to do now is to implement this into the buttons, and we are all set. Okay, so let's go and add this to the buttons. We're gonna go to increment button, and after the class name we're gonna do on click equals open and close curly braces. Alright, we're gonna do an arrow function, open and close parentheses with an arrow, and I'm gonna name this to handle increment, like so. And I'm gonna finish this with open and close parentheses. Alright, now we can copy this handle increment. We can go up and under function app, and before return we're gonna name this function handle increment, open and close parentheses, and we're gonna finish this with open and close curly braces, like so. Hit enter. Okay, so on click increment we're gonna call this handle increment, and inside here we're gonna call props, and we're gonna call this one increment count. So we're gonna copy this, go up, so props dot increment count, open and close parentheses, and the number. So as you remember, if you go back to index actions, we want to pass in a number right here. So let's go back, and we want to increment by 1, like so. So if I save this and go to the application and click on increment, we can now see that the counter gets incremented by 1 on each click. If I click on decrement, nothing happens. So let's go and fix decrement. Do the same thing. We're just gonna copy this on click. Go to decrement after the class name and paste it. Change handle increment to decrement. And we're gonna go and copy this function. Copy. Paste. Change to decrement. Change this one to decrement. So this one, decrement count. And same thing right here, we're gonna pass this number 1. So if we save this one and go back to the application and click on increment, we got 7. And if you click on decrement, it gets decremented. Okay, so we got now minus 21. And as you can see, we got this extra thing. Let's remove that one. So this one, I'm gonna delete that. Okay, click on save. Let's go back and it's gone. Okay everyone, so now we have increment and decrement application that works. If you go back, you can also, if you don't want to add number 1 here, you can add like value and add value right here. Value. Same thing right here. Value. Value. Okay. And if you go to the buttons, you can pass the value right here. 1. And right here increment 1. Save this one. Like so. Let's go back to the application and try it out, and it works the same. And if I go back, add a value 2 and value 2, click on save, go back to the application and click on increment. Now you see we increment this by 2. And same thing with the decrement, we decrement this by 2. Okay, so this is a great way if you want to have a different value right here. Instead of going to the action creator and changing the value right here. Okay. Okay everyone, so this is how you can create an increment and decrement application using React and Redux for beginners in 2020. And of course, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more of these videos and click on the notification bell to get updates when I upload new videos. Okay everyone, so I hope you learned something from this video on how to use Redux and React. So if you want more of these videos, subscribe right here in the corner. Check out my latest video right here. Alright, so I hope you have an awesome day. Take care and bye.